All right, so this is something that I've been meaning to discuss, and it's something that kind of hits home for me personally. And it's just been this whole year, and this is the reason why I'm doing what I'm doing right now. And I talked about this a little bit briefly on the video that I made on why you should get in a relationship, why you should get married, and it seems like it got a pretty positive reception from the audience. I don't have a big audience, of course, but it got a little bit more views. I got a comment there, and yeah, so it seems like it's done a little bit better. So people resonated with it. I wanted to talk about the urgency aspect of it. So I talked about why getting in a relationship or getting married gives you more urgency. Now, when you get married, especially as a man, like even if you get into a relationship, as a man, you just feel like this is I would say this is a lot of men, maybe not all men, but naturally you're just gonna feel this instinct to provide, right? You want you're the leader, right? So you're thinking of, okay, how am I gonna provide? How am I gonna make income? How am I gonna get food on the table? How am I gonna do this? So naturally, it just kind of comes up, right? So in like instinctually, and this is when even when you have kids, there's a sense of urgency to actually get things done, get things going, and I felt that as soon as it happened, I just felt that sense of urgency, which is why I've been working on this business, online fitness business. I'm working on another business, and then I also have other things that I do, like in terms of just like the online side. So my lifestyle, like before, was more like I wanted to I wanted this the lifestyle I'm living right now, but I was kind of like comfortable. I was like kind of okay. Well, I was looking at my investments. I was like okay, everything's kind of looking on point. And then, but when I ended up getting married, I'm like, oh man, like you're nowhere. Well, even before, like this is like maybe last year on this time. This is before I got married, but this is when the idea was coming. I realized, oh man, I'm nowhere near where I should be right now, and I realized that hey, you got to step up your game. So that's why this year, from last year on this time to now, I've just been working on figuring out my own projects because I realized I need to figure out how to make my own money, how to actually not rely on others, like for example, a job or working as a contractor. I can't rely on that because things happen, right? So I made a lot of sacrifices this year, and some of the sacrifices they're hitting a little bit. They've been kind of pinching me, and I've been feeling discomfort. But and this is where today's video is going to be. I made that choice. I told myself I want to do this so badly. I want this so badly that I'm willing to sacrifice feeling comfortable. I'm willing to sacrifice the investments that I made, the investments that I made maybe through the stock market. I'm willing to take that money and put it somewhere else. I'm willing. I wanted it so badly. Like at this point, like I wanted it so badly to thrive in my own businesses, because I know that if I can figure this out, similar to my health, which I would say I've figured it out to the most part. I still learn, of course, but I figured out how to like stay in shape. I can get to that point where I can be there with my career. And if I can get there in my career, it's like this faucet, right? Which my business coach, he talks about a faucet. When you're ready to make sales, you turn on the faucet and you go based on how much you want to do. So I wanted it so badly. Like I'm not I wanted this is the present. I want it so badly that I was willing to sacrifice things that I was like, I've found ways to make it work. I found ways to hire a business coach. I tried. I kept figuring it out. Even when it comes to my content, every single day, I'm doing something on social media. When it comes to my online fitness business, I'm doing something. I'm doing something in my fitness. Like there's something, right? Sometimes I'll get good comments. Sometimes I'll get not so good comments. When I see them, I just like, and I just keep it pushing, and I just keep going. I've been listening to more audiobooks. I've been reading my Kindle a lot more. I've been revisiting that. I've been listening to different things on YouTube, just reinforcing myself, looking at self-talk, working on myself, and I'm actually in the best shape like in a very long time when it comes to like my health, and I feel really really good. My diet's relatively clean. Of course, I have days where I eat chicken wings, like I ate some today, and I posted on Snapchat. But for the most part, like I'm very balanced when it comes to my health. However, this aspect of like my career, I wanted it so badly to succeed in it that I am going. I'm going balls to the wall. I'm taking my time. I'm patient with it. I think now this is gonna slip in my head, but I think it's be impatient with your actions, but patient with your results. So I have this urgency. I'm getting things done. I'm getting content out. I'm refining my business. I'm working on my website. I'm doing all these different things, but I'm also realizing that I'm not there yet. I'm still at the bottom of the barrel. But I want it so badly that this is kind of ingrained in me at this point. And it's just a matter of time before I start to see the fruits of my labor. Now, I rambled for 6 minutes, but this is something that I really, really want to talk about. Most people don't want it badly enough. Most people don't want to get in shape badly enough. Most people do not want to build a successful business badly enough. Most people do not want to find someone, a partner, badly enough. It's just not a thing, right? I was talking to someone, and he was talking to me about like how he's not finding someone. He's struggling to find someone, and it happens. Even me, like I struggled for a while. One thing I did was I always worked on like myself as I was talking to new people. So I always worked on myself, and as a result, I kind of got more confident when it came to like talking to just attracting women. And I just also worked on myself. So I worked on my body. I was working on my career a lot at that time too, but I was kind of doing a little bit of everything. So it takes time, but I was reading books too. Like I was reading books, and I wanted it enough that at some point I almost gave up. But I was always in the back of my head. And most people, like I said, they don't want it enough. Like I've been posting on Snapchat, especially Snapchat. Instagram is a little different because my ecosystem is more like people that are fit, trainers, people that are already living a healthy lifestyle. So it's a little bit different when I get the reception from Instagram. But on Snapchat, I noticed that because it's my closer circle. So when it's your closer circle, they don't necessarily take you as, I've noticed they don't really take it as serious. Like they probably just see me as like, oh, it's just this guy. And of course, there's a lot of people that support. Like I'm being real. A lot of people support. Like I see like messages from people like say, you keep going. I love you. People supported me in all these different ways. So that's not it. But for the most part, I've seen like comments of like, oh, who's this guy? Like who hurt bro? Like just I've only really seen it on Snapchat really. Instagram I haven't really seen it as much. I think I've seen like 2 or 3 comments. But on Snapchat for the most part, it's one of those things where a lot of people like will watch they'll watch my stories, and I'm pretty sure they're still out of shape. Like they haven't done anything in their journey. And that just shows how badly do you want to be healthy or just be in shape. And I think most people just don't care enough, which is absolutely fine. And most people don't complain. Like for the most part, people won't complain about it. Like I talked to someone about my online fitness training, and I mentioned, I mentioned it to someone that they should try it, and they haven't tried it yet, which is fine. But I realized that my sense of urgency was just a lot more than someone else. I just wanted it badly enough. And I know I'm like kind of rambling in this video, but if you ever do something, think about how badly do you want it. and try to reverse engineer a little bit and think of like the benefits of doing this thing. Like for example, most people, and this is not a knock on anyone. I have no issues with that. I have a part-time job, which I haven't been at for a very long time. It's been almost 2 months since I've been there. So I don't even like, to be fair, but how badly do people want, like, a lot of people go to their jobs from 9 to 5, which is fine. Like I said, there's nothing wrong with it, but they'll do their 9 to 5 job and they'll come home and then they'll just like watch TV and then they'll go to sleep, they'll wake up, and then when the weekend comes, like, oh, weekend, great weekend, and then like all of a sudden it's like it's this thing where it's like, oh, it's Sunday, tomorrow's Monday, ugh. And then they kind of like go through the weekend and then they're like back to work Monday to Friday, and then Saturday, Sunday. Oh yeah, they love Friday, because I've been in this loop before. It's happened to me. They love Friday. They hate they like Saturday nights, but then there's something in their head that's like, oh, Monday's coming, and then Sundays I just absolutely dread. For me, it's like the total opposite. Like I actually like Sundays and I like Mondays. Mondays is like one of my favorite days of the week because it's like a start. I love starts. I love the start of things. That's just how I love the start of month. I love start of week. I love start of years. Not as much as I used to for start of years, but I do like start of weeks and start of months, especially start of quarters. I love start of quarters. That actually excites me. But most people, they dread it because they're like, oh, I have to go back to this routine. But if you actually wanted to get out of that routine, for me, what I was actually doing when I was working at 9 to 5, or I guess at 10 to 6, because I was working at 9 to 5 and I worked at 10 to 6 too, was I would go to the gym in the morning. Like I'd go around like 7, I think, or 7, 8 a.m. And then I'd work out whatever time I had. And then I would get ready. I'd go for my job. I'd listen to like an audiobook or listen to like something specific. And then I would come back home at around 7. And then sometimes I would make like YouTube videos, or at that time I was doing photography. So I was still doing some gigs here and there to make some side income. But in my head, I was always thinking of like, I have to figure out how to not do this, like how to get out of this. And it wasn't until 2021 where for the first time in my life, I actually started making money just through being at home, like working on my own schedule. Because I always knew that like, I like what I did. I always knew that I want to do something in the online space. However, I just know that I want to do something that I can work on my own schedule. And that's kind of how it's been now. Now, I've kind of taken it further, and this year I've taken less just in general to focus on like my strengths. And I've also sacrificed some things for me, right? So this new business that I'm starting, like it requires capital. It requires it's a risk, right? And I'm not expecting instant results. I think most people should be aware of that. You're not gonna get instant results when you're starting a business. That's why when someone says, "Oh, are you making a lot of money through your business?" I'm like, "It's been like 2 months." Like, what do you think? That if someone asks that, then you know that like they never run a business before. When people ask oh, how's the small business? I've had like people say, oh, how's your small bit, I think it was small business or something like that, or like how's a little business or something like that. They'll throw like small like shade, or they'll be like, oh, when how's the side, how's what's the other one, what's the one, it was side quest, yeah, side quest. So we were doing a bunch of side quests. Yeah, it's like, and it's not just one, it's just like in general, like a lot of people just don't see it. And then when I go somewhere, I go like a game, like a soccer or football game in Europe, like people just look and they're like, oh, this is cool. And then it'll be like, oh, but it's just him. So, and then they'll think, oh yeah, like he's just doing this, like he's just like okay, well, fair enough. And I've heard people say like, oh, we always think, oh, we think about the people that travel while like everyone's working. And I've just built my lifestyle like that. But it took a long time for me to build this lifestyle. It took a lot of sacrifice. And there were days where like I would work my 9 to 5, and I would come back and I would literally just be working on something. And even if I wasn't working on something, I remember when I worked my 9 to 5, I would literally sometimes walk back home like for like 30 minutes to an hour, just thinking and reflecting on what I need to do next. Like I would never go into a 9 to 5 and just come back home without some sort of game plan. I knew I had to get out of this. I had to get out of whatever it is I was doing. I always had this escape. And it wasn't until maybe like I would say last year, for like 2 years, I kind of went out of that. I kind of like went out of that, where I was just kind of like really focused on like a specific project that I was doing, and I was so heavily invested in it. And it wasn't until last year where I realized, man, what are you doing? Like you're so invested into that something, right? Something. This is not your personal project. You know, if it does, like I know it's gonna work, but like even if it doesn't work, everyone is gonna go to their thing, and you're gonna be back to square one. That's why I started running. That's personally why I started running, because I needed to reflect. I needed to get my mind back to where it was. And this whole year, it's been, like I said, it's been a sacrifice. When I did photography, some of you guys don't know, but I had an audience when I was doing photography, and I actually deleted that account. Dumb of me to do that, but I did. And at that time, I was actually making money off photography. I was getting money doing photo shoots. I did some weddings. I shot some of I shot some events. So I was actually making, like, I wasn't making crazy money, but I was actually making money off photography. Like I was actually doing it. When people ask me, what do you do? I said, I'm a photographer. They'll go, no, what do you actually do? I'm like, no, I actually do photography. I was actually making, that was, at some point, that was like that was my main source of income. And I remember growing that page. It took so long for me to, it didn't take as long as I wanted to, but I remember how much I had to grind. Like I would grind every single moment of every single day for like 3 months. I was literally grinding. I would post probably like 3 to 4 times a day. And I remember people, like, even in my class, they unfollowed me. I saw people, at my old friends, they unfollowed me. People were like, oh, you're posting way too much. You're doing this. And then once I kind of broke through, I think when I got my first 1,000 followers on that page, that's when like everyone's kind of like changed. Like they kind of like changed. And then like people started like, it was a point where like people were like at first people were okay. So people were like, at first people were like saying, oh, you should do this, you should do that, you should do this, you should do that. But as soon as I hit 1,000 followers on Instagram, and I had a good ratio, as soon as I hit 1,000 followers and it started to go up, I was gaining like, I'm not kidding, I was probably gaining about like 50 to 100 followers a day. Like something happened, I don't know what, I just had some post that went viral, or I guess in Vancouver, that some post that went viral, and I changed my name to the Van City Photographer. I just completed a whole rebrand, and my page just like turned around. And that's when people started to hit me up for different reasons. At first people were like, oh yeah, you should do this. Then people started hitting me up for different reasons, which was so like interesting. They're like, they would want to work with me, they want to collab, they want to do this, they want to do that. And I didn't have like a crazy audience. I probably had like maybe 3,500 followers at the end. Before I think 4,000 followers probably, like at the end, close to 4,000 by the time like I decided to kind of walk away from it. But the way I'm feeling right now is I feel that exact same feeling, where it's like I'm just grinding at this fitness business. Not just fitness, but it's everything I'm doing. And it's a grind. But when I wake up, I do my fajr, and then I do my best to do like a little bit like a morning routine. I don't really have a morning routine, but I try to like just listen to something specific. Sometimes it's adhkar, sometimes it's like some motivational thing. Sometimes it's an audiobook, sometimes it's Self Talk Plus by Shad Helmstetter. And then before I go to sleep, I'll listen to like something on YouTube that'll kind of help me, or I'll read my Kindle. I'm kind of back at that, where it's like I'm back at this, and I'm starting to see a little bit of growth, but it's like sometimes like, oh, I need to do more and more and more. This is kind of like a video where it's kind of a video for me, right? This is not really a video for someone watching this. If you're watching this and you're listening to all this, shout out to you. But this video is really for me. It's kind of to remind myself of why you're doing this. And one of the biggest reasons, again, like I said, is I needed to do my own thing. I really, really like everything else that I do. However, I never really had control over it. Like I just didn't have control over it. So I was very reliant, right? And when you're reliant on something, then and you start to lose control, that's when things start to that's when you start to feel like you're lacking. There's something inside you that's gonna start to feel like you're not fulfilling your potential, right? For me, the reason why fitness is so big for me is because fitness has been a big part of my life, just health in general. When it came to like just getting down and coming back up, whenever I felt down, fitness was always there. I would go for runs. I would go to the gym. You know, when I got malaria when I was in Senegal, what got me back up was going for runs every day after Fajr. Like that's got me getting going again, and it also get like improved my immune system. And you know, when I my mental health was kind of down, or when it is down, health is or fitness, taking care of my health is a big thing that's really contributed to my life, right? And that's kind of why I'm doing it, because I was already creating content around fitness in my personal page, but I wasn't doing anything to monetize. I wasn't coaching. I wasn't doing anything like that. But now it's like I'm still living my life. This is the life I've been living for years now, but now I'm just displaying that life to others for others to see. Like it's not something that I haven't been doing. I've been doing this. It's not like, oh, I just woke up in the morning and I made this post. I didn't just wake up in the morning and just start saying, oh yeah, I should just start working out. No. I worked out for a while. I hired two coaches. I hired two personal trainers. I was so broke at that time in 2016. I could not even buy protein powder. I remember I could not buy protein powder. My with my coach, I don't think I finished the sessions, but what I learned through both coaches, who I have a lot of gratitude to, is how to work out properly and how to actually integrate fitness into my lifestyle. After I got the two coaches, my whole routine like just transformed. And then when I figured out my diet in 2018, 2019, that's when everything just changed. I realized I kind of figured it out. It kind of made sense. And yeah, but again, like I said, I wanted this bad. Like I really, really wanted this badly. Like I can't explain. I can't transfer passion to someone else. But you'll know if there's something that you really want to do when you're kind of like in this like time when you're just chilling, relaxing. When there's something that you really, really want to do, and this is where purpose comes in. Like YouTubers talk about purpose, but it's kind of like you don't look for your purpose. You don't like find your purpose. Your purpose kind of finds you. And all this stuff that I've been doing, it's been so incorporated in my life. Like fitness has been such a huge thing for the last like 10 years. And I'm not a bodybuilder. I'm not a power lifter. I'm not any of that, right? I would say I'm more of like a hybrid athlete, if anything. I like to lift. I like to run. I like to do battle ropes. I like to play sports. I like to do it all. I just like to be healthy. Honestly, that's really it. And I like to use fitness for my mental health and just my productivity. That's my personal thing. And I think I've talked a lot. It's been 24 minutes. But the question I want to ask you is, how badly do you want it? How badly do you want to win? The best athletes are the ones that actually want to win. You see it. Like it's not just, oh, they're just really talented. There's a lot of talented. If you look at the NBA is a great it's a great sport to look at when it comes to, and hockey too. But what these sports that have a little bit less players on like the field, the pitch, or the court, whatever it may be, the ice, those are the sports where you should look at certain athletes, right? You see a lot of athletes that are amazing. They have so much potential, right? And you can see that they're just kind of there, right? Their whole career, they're there. they don't win a ring, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh yeah, they're a legend, right? You give them their props. But then you see those guys, they're like, now we say aura, but like their aura is so like immense that you can tell that there's something different about these people. We always say the Mamba mentality. These are the people, right? Even if you think about LeBron, like say what you want to say about LeBron, but that he spends a lot of money just working on his body. That's he invests in what his strengths, which is his body, and he's still playing at I think he's 39 or he's almost 40 now at this point. You know, Jordan, of course, we all know Jordan, right? Even Ronaldo, and Messi, right? Like, do you think Messi's all talent, but Messi also has some aura within him too. He wants to win. Beckham was saying that the first day that he showed up to the Inter Miami practice session, I think he came at like 6 or 7 a.m., which is like 3 hours or 4 hours earlier than the rest of the team. So, and you can see when he was playing in the World Cup, you can see how badly he wanted to win. When Ronaldo wanted to win the Euros, you could see how badly he wanted to win it, right? Both of them, they both have this immense aura. But and there's some players, like I'm not gonna say names because I'm not a professional athlete. Who am I? But I'm saying to use them as examples. You can see that there's certain athletes that are just there. Like when I remember Kobe, I always remember this. He always talked about when he talked to Patrick David, when he played. I think when he was playing in high school, he said high school and college, in general, is usually harder than the NBA, because when you're in high school and college, you're so like focused. You want to make it. You're broke. You're hungry. You want to make it. But once you make it, that's when you actually see who really, really wants to win, right? Kobe was like, as soon as he went to the NBA, he was like, oh, this is so much easier because there's so many people that are just there coasting. And you can see that, right? There's just players that are there coasting. You know, at night they'll do whatever they got to do. They'll go travel. You know, they're living the life, but at the same time too, like maybe they're just not. They just don't want to win. And this is where your standards, you have to raise your standards. And this is a very long video. I know it's a very, very long video, but it's something that I'm very, very passionate about. This is something that I've been really contemplating about, because I've had to sit with myself sometimes when I'm working on these businesses that I'm working on, and I've had to ask myself, man, maybe you're not seeing results. Maybe you're struggling. Maybe this is going on. Maybe you're seeing this comment. You're not seeing results. You're putting out stuff and people aren't responding the way that they're not responding as much. But at the same time too, I'm like, how badly do you want this? And I'm like, I need this. It's not like I want to do this. I need to win. When your will to win is like a need, when you have to win, right? You rise to the standards that you set for yourself, but it's really the standards that you have to have. And for me, I need to win. Like, it's this urgency. I need to win. I've been saying this all year. I want my championship. And you have your own championship. And most people, just to summarize, don't want that. Most people do not want to win. Most people are happy where they're at. And it's actually, no, let me correct that. Most people are not happy where they're at. Most people just don't have the courage to get to where they want to be. Most people don't have that courage. Most people do not have that courage because it takes risk. It takes struggle. It takes sacrifice. And most people are not willing to sacrifice for their goals. And that's the reality. And that's okay. That's okay. If you're not willing to sacrifice for your goals, then your goals will become the sacrifice. So even if you don't sacrifice for your goals, you will contemplate. I always hear, like, when I work somewhere, like whenever I work a job, it always reminds me of like how people have given up, or people are they just kind of given up, where it's like, oh, I really want to do a business. I really want to start this. I really want to start that. And running a business is not easy. Like, you're gonna have ups and downs. Like, there's so many things that go into it. And Yeah, I think I've rambled enough. I don't want to talk too much because I feel like I've talked a lot and I think I yapped quite a bit. And maybe this is a lot of fluff. But I know that there's someone out there who's watching this who may feel like they're not achieving, like they're not where they want to be. They're just not able to figure out. Maybe they have a lot of doubters. Maybe people aren't taking them seriously. Maybe, they just haven't figured it out yet. And what I can say to you, and this is a reminder to myself as well, is just keep going. Just keep trying different things. You're gonna fail. You're gonna suck at whatever you're doing at the start, which is normal. It's not like you're gonna get in shape in a week. You're not gonna figure out your business in a month, right? You're not gonna, but you just have to keep trying. Ask questions, find the right people to help you. Keep trying, experiment, see what works, what doesn't work. Build systems for yourself. Some people work well with systems. I'm that type of person. Some people, systems don't really work too well for them. They're not as system oriented, and that's in it. That's their strength, right? Some people, they're more power lifters, right? Their body just tends to be more in a powerlifting type of body, right? Some people are more bodybuilders, like they're more like genetically gifted in that sense. Some people are, if it's like me, you're more of like a hybrid athlete, or a hybrid. You're just hybrid person, the person that you're trained hybrid, right? Whereas you can do a little bit of everything. For me, I'm very like speed oriented, so I really like to do things like fast. I really like to focus on my speed, right? Focus on your strengths, and that's the thing. When you try things, you will find your strengths. And yeah, I think that's really all I want to talk about. I think that's really it. I think I've yapped enough. Yeah, I've yapped enough. I think if you want something bad enough, you know it. Like, you'll know when you want something bad enough. You'll know. You'll know because you'll be the most passionate person when it comes to that thing, and people won't believe in it until they actually see it succeed. Once, I've seen this with my photography. I've seen this even when I'm working with, working with an influencer that with millions of followers. People didn't take it seriously until they saw, me on the YouTube channel, right? Or they saw me, a picture of me, right? People didn't take it seriously until that point, right? So you just have, and even like going to Europe, watching games, like it's just like people don't take it seriously until you actually do it. That's why you just focus on your thing, do your thing, keep it pushing, and then yeah, I think that's really it. So if anyone watches this, shout out to you. But yeah, I think this is something that, like I said, this is really deep in my heart because I'm working on this every single day, not just fitness, but like just in general. I'm at a building stage of my life. This is like I'm building something. And I know it's going to get to a point where it will be built, but it's going to take time. Anyways, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Don't forget to stay authentic. Peace.